can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decision on how to lead themselves.
Hello viewers, you are welcome to Christians in Politics. Nigeria gained independence in 1960, and we started from 3 regions. We moved to 12 states, 19. Today we are 36 states. Nigeria recently celebrated our 56th independence. While some persons say Nigeria has not achieved any developments compared with other independent nations, others have expressed mixed feelings over the slow pace of development. Joining me today, as we shall be discussing Nigeria at 56, any progress, are Venerable J.O. Unoaya, Director Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and the chaplain to the National Assembly. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And also, Reverend Canon Benjamin Agbejume, a priest with the Diocese of Abuja. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You can also view us on our social media platforms. You can view us on www.facebook.com/ACNNTV. On YouTube, www.youtube.com/ACNNTV, and on Twitter at ACNNTV. Venerable, Nigeria is 56. Is this age of ours worth celebrating? What is there for us to be happy about?
Well, there's nothing wrong about celebration of any kind if it's not blown out of proportion. And if at this time when we are having serious economic challenges, so much is not wasted in the name of celebration. It's like asking a 56-year-old man, why should he celebrate his birthday? The mere fact that he's alive is a cause for celebration. And to that extent, there's nothing wrong in celebrating. Talking though more practically about Nigeria as a nation, there are a few things to celebrate. We are having a democratic system of government now, and by the grace of God, we are moving on with it gradually. And to that extent, we need to celebrate that. There have been no destruction for some time now, and that is something that we need to celebrate. That we are still one, we are still together as a nation is something to celebrate. You remember the prediction about the disintegration of Nigeria in 2015. 2015 had come and gone now, and we are still together as a people. So that should make us to celebrate that we are still one as a people. We have been faced with so much threats. Look at the issue of Boko Haram that became a major trouble for us as a nation. And as at the moment, by the grace of God, it's like Boko Haram have been subdued to a great extent, and the territories they have taken be recovered. And in fact, I monitored in one of the news media this afternoon that the very last base of Boko Haram has been captured by Nigeria Army, and so there was a caption, Boko Haram have no base again in Nigeria. To that extent, there's cause to celebrate. But there are issues which maybe later in the program we may look at.
Okay. Canon Akbijime, in your own opinion, what is the state of the nation?
Thank you very much. I will say that on a more serious note, Nigeria got our independence in 1960, and Nigeria lost that independence after 6 years. Because the progress Nigeria has achieved so far from 1960 to 1966, before the first coup in January 15, and after the counter coup 7 months later by T.Y. Danjuma and others, that marks the end of Nigeria independence. Because the progress achieved within that 6 years surpasses the progress that Nigeria has achieved for
the rest of the 50 years.
Rest of the 50 years. Because at that time, if you look at the rate of development in the 3 regions of Nigeria, you discover that what we are celebrating today, I don't think that there is no serious government. There is no serious government that will come out to celebrate failure. Because a man of 56 years should be thinking of looking backward and asking himself, with the years I've spent so far, even if I die, what I've achieved so far will make the generation after me to look to and say, yes, our father has done something great and has bequeathed a good legacy for us. So if the current leaders are celebrating Nigeria at 56 without looking back on the achievements, the failures is very, very misnomer. Because I don't see anything worth celebrating. Are we celebrating failure?
But sorry for cutting you, sir.
Yes.
But like the Venerable said, we have made some progress regarding security in the country as it is today. We just fought a war, or you could call it battles, with a militant group, and from what we are hearing, we have been able to push this militant group out of the country. Now, there are other developments like in education. When you compare the 3 regions then to what we have now, we have a lot of universities, polytechnics, higher institutions, more secondary schools, and there are developments that we have made in other areas.
My brother, first of all, you ask this question: what are the causes of these agitations, both in the north and in the south? In the first place, if you see an average Nigerian, if you ask an average Nigerian, are you a Nigerian? First of all, he will tell you the region he's from. He will tell you, because take for example what the Senate President, Deputy Senate President said some months ago or last year, when he said Nigeria is practicing a fidibottle federalism, where states, governors are playing draft and waiting for end of the month to come and collect a federal allocation. Do you call that achievement? What are the concrete achievements since 1966 till date? We say we have education. What have we achieved so far with all our educations, with all our universities? So when we still patronize even universities in Ghana are far better than universities. I mean, if you say, okay, in the world rating today, Nigeria is only one Nigerian university is among the 100 universities in the whole world. And we have how many universities in Nigeria? Do you call that an achievement? Nigeria, the unemployment rate in Nigeria is ranked one of the highest in the world. Poverty rate in Nigeria is ranked one of the highest in the world. Underdevelopment in Nigeria is ranked one of the highest in the world. Poor leadership is ranked one of the highest in the world. Do you celebrate mediocrity? Do you celebrate ignorance? I don't see anything worth celebrating in Nigeria, because as for me, we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Venerable, is that not what our leaders are telling us? But in a country where you have young, vibrant youth, and you have a 76 or 78 years old man ruling us, where are the youths? Where are the leaders of tomorrow? This is the time even for them to take a back seat and be advisors, statesmen, advising the young ones. David Cameron, how old is he? Ruling Britain. How old is American president? How old is Russian president? How old is North Korea president? He's just 33 years.
Yeah, we
call
North Korea.
No. We even know, but the young man is doing well. To me, as far as I'm concerned. So when you are talking about celebrating, because the problem when you are talking about the military came out to say that yes, they have destroyed the last stronghold of Boko Haram. What is the? How come? What are the origin? What are the causes that necessitated this Boko Haram? Even the agitation in the Niger Delta. If we have good leadership in Nigeria, if Nigeria is doing what is expected of her, I don't think that there will be this agitation, there will be this north-south dichotomy and problem of leadership we are facing. Is because there is leadership failure, is because we have failed to do what we are supposed to do educationally, health-wise, and in every sector in our economic life. Nigeria has not performed up to expectation.
Now, Canon has been very passionate about talking about the problem.
That's why I say there are issues
of Nigeria. So
no, see, when I was opening, I said to an extent we can celebrate because he is here in the studio talking. Some few years ago, you cannot sit down like this and talk and still expect to go home and relax in your own house. So, but today, because of some progress, we can sit down here and talk and criticize government and maybe still go home and relax. That is progress.
So there's freedom of expression.
Yeah, that is progress. Yeah. Because I said there are issues. We are going to, he was just going around the issue. We are maybe going to look at these issues in detail. Really, we have problems to deal with. But that is not to say we cannot celebrate at all. If you look at the area of, let me just use an example.
So I think the Canon was burdened by, when the comparison of our failure, with our sources.
Yeah.
From his passionate speech about our
what
felt that
the
our
question
failure outweighs the sources.
The question
but is this true?
The question you raise is what is the state
of the nation?
So to that extent, I have no problem with his analysis so far. The question you posed to me was any need to celebrate?
Yes.
And I said at least there is need to celebrate, provided it is not done extravagantly or prodigally.
Yes.
In such a way that it will call for another problem. So we need to celebrate because we are alive. We need to celebrate because we are together as a people.
We need to, of Nigeria.
Yes, we need to thank God for the little progress that we have made so far. But whether this progress is really enough, whether we are where we're supposed to be, is another issue entirely. That is why I say there are issues.
Yes. Yes. I agree with both analysis regarding Nigeria now. But Is the picture as bad as the canon has painted it?
I can say it's even worse than what he has painted. So when I say there are issues, I said it with all due sense of responsibility, that there are issues. The situation is very, 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 very far from what is supposed to be. We are very far away from where we're supposed to be at 56.
Okay, sir, I don't want to, let's take this one after the other.
Okay.
When we talk about the issue of education, he mentioned that although no Nigerian school is among the first 100 in the world, I can tell you that, from ratings in the world. So we are, maybe the first Nigerian school should be like maybe 400 or 500 or something, or even 600. I can't get you the rating, now. But the point is, regarding education, we have so many schools in Nigeria, so many universities. Although we have had challenges in the past, especially during the military era, where we have ASU strikes, we have students going on strike. We have so many issues then. What is the state of our education in Nigeria now?
Yeah, now, you see, we will always predicate whatever we are, our responses on the main question, whether should we celebrate or should we not celebrate. If I have to answer the issue of the school based on that, I will tell you, well, there's need to celebrate, because as a young priest, when I started, you go to congregation, you need interpreters before you can communicate in most villages. Okay. But it is not so today. There's hardly any Nigeria village you go to today where you not find graduates in your congregation. So educationally, that is progress.
Illiteracy.
The illiteracy,
yeah.
I mean, we are moving on, gradually improving, and more people are becoming educated. So to that extent, we can celebrate. But when you now talk about the quality of education compared to standards that are benchmarks around the world, it's a different issue. We are not where we're supposed to be at all. You still can find, even in our time today in Nigeria, students still sitting, undergraduate students still sitting on the floor to get, during lecture, no time in the hall. It happened to me when I went for further studies in 1997, and that I come into a hall. Let me not just mention the name of the university now, because it's almost the same everywhere. So where I go for a lecture, and a lecturer is lecturing inside the hall, I cannot even see the lecturer because of the mammoth crowd. I'm outside, trying to peep through the window to see whether I can see the lecturer. Then what I have to take a practical decision that, okay, since that is the case, I want to at least be inside the hall to be able to see the lecturer that is lecturing. So I decided that, okay, since the lecture is 7 a.m., I will get there before 6:30 a.m. And I get there by 6:30 a.m. Many students have also taken similar decision. So all the seats are be filled up. What did I do? Even as a priest with collar on my neck, I sit on the platform, the platform by the chalkboard, sit like this, backing the chalkboard, and the lecturer is standing at my back while I'm facing the congregation. Many people sit like that. So I'm surprised that my son has gotten admission, and the picture is still given to me today. It's not different from that at all. So that's why I said there are issues. There are issues with our system. Is it when you talk about corruption in education today? The problem is in terms of qualitative education. Are we making progress? That is the issue. Those days, a majority will be able to face examination, do without recurring to help and all that. But malpractices today has become an order. So these are the issues I'm talking about when I mean there are issues that we need to really look at even as we celebrate. We should not forget that there are issues to deal with. Education is still far from where it's supposed to be. There are still people, students, secondary school students, studying under tree, under mango tree, under umbrella tree. Once it is a rainy day, the school is over for that very day. So these are issues that we need to look at. You still see dilapidated schools where the ceilings are falling almost on the head of the student and no one cares about it. These are issues that we need to deal with even as we celebrate. So that's my own point.
Come on, why do you think that even, when we talk about education now, in spite of, the vision of the founding fathers of this country, when, they, brought education, when they founded universities, and they even introduced free education for all. Why are we still having this problem? Why is our educational system still being underfunded? Most times teachers are always, lecturers are always talking about, problem with their pay. I could remember when I got admission, there was a sticker on a lecturer's door. My take-home pay cannot take me home. That was then. but even now, they still clamor.
They said their reward is in heaven.
About this, even teachers right from primary.
We just celebrated Teachers' Day a few days ago, and it was sad commentary all through.
Their reward, even after 56 years, their reward is still in heaven.
Why do you think these people are still being oppressed?
Yeah, like what I said earlier. Nigeria got her independence 1960 and lost her independence after 6 years.
Okay, so they lost their educational independence?
Not only education. What is affecting education is also affecting every sector.
This is a problem on leadership.
Yes, because what I'm really saying here is this. Between 1960 and 1966, when we have 3 regions,
okay,
we have each region was developing our own region at their own pace,
okay,
educationally, economically, and otherwise. And every region is making a policy to suit that particular region. You have Obafemi Awolowo who declared free education in the whole western region at that time. So whatever you are doing is determined by your resources. Is determined by the resources of that region, the economic resources of that region. But today, what do we have? We say we are practicing federalism. What kind of federalism will you call this kind of system where the government, central government, sees itself as emperor, bringing everything to the center? The states are not economically viable. If power is devolved to the states and each state is tapping our resources to develop ourselves, both in the area of health, in the area of education, if you will see even those states that you are seen to be very, very poor, we tap our resources. And because now you will see the north and south dichotomy in area of education, where you will have cutoff mark in the north maybe 80, while cutoff mark in the south will be 220. How do you expect such a country to really develop educationally? You don't expect anything good, Because even in an office where you have somebody with PhD who has studied so hard, because of quota system, you go and bring a mediocre from a particular region in order to, so you see that affecting our national life.
So what can we do to
first thing we have to go back to what happened at the time of Saldana, Tafawa Balewa,
to go back to the 60s?
To go back to the 60s.
I don't think it to
Wait. No, because if we say we are going to practice true federalism, then there must be a total restructuring where power will go to the states. Economic power will go to the state, not the type that we are having today. The states are powerless. There are states that the governors that have become so lazy, they don't think. The only thing they think is end of the month they will come to Abuja to collect a federal allocation. And when they collect the federal allocation, they marry plenty wives, they buy big cars with their convoy that with more than 12 or 20 cars, and you go to their states, no education, no health care, no health facilities. Then you, my brother, if you go to, we are in Abuja, we will not even know what is happening in some states. If you go to some states, you will weep. Just last month, a governor was commissioning a secondary school in the first secondary school in a local government after how many years? In a whole local government area, only one secondary school. Look at what happened. The schools, the Alamajiri school built by the previous government are closed up. The present government, their governors are saying that they cannot run those schools. Then how do you expect such states to come out of their economic poverty? If you don't give education, right, tomorrow you will see have Boko Haram, because there is no two ways about it. If the people are not empowered educationally, there is no way you will not have the type of problem we are having today. That is why I will still suggest to this present government, go back to the 60s where you will have a total restructuring, and if you are practicing federalism, let it be a true federalism where the center, issue of education should not even be the issue. It should not be an issue to the federal government. It should be an issue to the states. If the states are economically empowered, let it be their responsibility. Let them have their own policy. That will help. You will see it will be competitive between states. Because if this state sees that, yes, what this state is doing is working, another state will copy it, and you will see competition. But this one that the federal government, we put resources and we say because this state is from the north, we put one in the north, let us put one in the south. Whether it will work, whether it will not work, it doesn't matter. My brother, we cannot come out of this mess.
Hello viewers, we shall be back after this short break.
Today, 1st October, is a day of celebration for us Nigerians. On this day, 56 years ago, our people achieved the most important of all human desires, freedom and independence. We should all therefore give thanks and pray for our founding fathers, without whose efforts and toil we will not reap the bounties of today. I know that uppermost in your minds today is the economic crisis. The recession for many individuals and families is real. For some, it means not being able to pay school fees. For others, it is not being able to afford the high cost of food, rice and millet, or the high cost of local or international travel. And for many of our young people, the recession means joblessness, sometimes after graduating from university or polytechnic. I know how difficult things are and how rough business is. All my adult life, I have always earned a salary, and I know what it is like when your salary simply is not enough. In every part of our nation, people are making incredible sacrifices. But let me say to all Nigerians today, I ran for office 4 times to make the point that we can rule this nation with honesty and transparency, that we can stop the stealing of Nigeria's resources so that the resources could be used to provide jobs for our young people, security infrastructure for commerce, education, and health care. I ran for office because I know that good government is the only way to ensure prosperity and abundance for all. I remain resolutely committed to this objective. I believe that this recession will not last. Temporary problems should not blind or divert us from the corrective course this government has charted for our nation. We have identified the country's salient problems, and we are working hard at lasting solutions. To recap what I have been saying since the inception of this administration, our problems are security, corruption, and the economy, especially unemployment and the alarming level of poverty. On security, we have made progress. Boko Haram was defeated by last December, only resorting to cowardly attacks on soft targets, killing innocent men, women, and children. Nigerians should thank our gallant men of the armed forces and police for rescuing large areas of the country captured by the insurgents. Now, residents in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states, as well as several neighboring states, go about their daily businesses in relative safety. People can go to mosques, churches, marketplaces in reasonable safety. Commuters can travel between cities, towns, and villages without fear. Credit for this remarkable turnaround should go to our armed forces, the police, various sponsored and private vigilante groups, the local traditional leaders. Security is a top-to-bottom concern and responsibility. Besides Boko Haram, we are confronting other long-running security issues, namely herdsmen versus farmers, cattle rustling, kidnappings. This administration is firmly resolved to tackle these challenges and to defeat them. A new insurgency has reared up its head in the shape of blown up gas and oil pipelines by groups of Niger Delta militants. This administration will not allow these mindless groups to hold the country to ransom. What sense is there to damage a gas line, as a result of which many towns in the country, including their own town or village, is put in darkness as a result. What logic is there in blowing up an export pipeline? As a result, income to your state and local governments, and consequently their ability to provide services to your own people is reduced. No group can unlawfully challenge the authority of the federal government and succeed. Our administration is fully sympathetic to the plight of the good people of Niger Delta, and we are in touch with the state governments and the leaderships of the region. It is known that the clean-up of the Ogoni land has started. Infrastructural projects financed by federal government and post-amnesty programs financing will continue. We have, however, continued to dialogue with all groups and leaders of thought in the region to bring lasting peace. Corruption is a cancer which must be fought with all the weapons at our disposal. It corrodes the very fabric of government and it destroys society. Fighting corruption is key, not only to restoring the moral health of the nation, but also to freeing our enormous resources for urgent socio-economic development. In fighting corruption, however, the government would adhere strictly by the rule of law. Not for the first time, I am appealing to the judiciary to join the fight against corruption. The third plank in this administration drive to change Nigeria is restructuring the economy. Economic behavior is cyclical. All countries face ups and downs. Our own recession has been brought about by a critical shortage of foreign exchange.
Hello viewers, thank you for staying tuned. You can join us on the social media, www.facebook.com/ACNNTV, on YouTube, www.youtube.com/ACNNTV, and on Twitter @ACNNTV. Here in the studio with me are Venerable J.O. Unoya and Reverend Canon Agbejumeyo. We have been discussing Nigeria at 56. Is the age worth celebrating? Any progress? The Canon was talking about the structure of Nigeria in terms of federalism, the federal government, the state government, and the local government. He was talking about the devolution of power. When you look at Nigeria now, are there defects in the structure of this country?
There's no doubt about that. I quite subscribe to the fact that there's need for this devolution of power, and I'm one of the person who has been clamoring for the implementation of the National Conference report, which was put together by Jonathan's administration. And you will know that when Nigerians were put together to discuss the issues of how to move forward as a nation, one of the issues that topped the agenda was the issue of restructuring of this very country. At the moment, the center seems to be too powerful, and the center seems to be too far away from the people. That is the truth. Let me give you a practical example. Of recent, the Church of Nigeria had a conference, the standing committee at Oka in Anambra State. And I decided to go through Enugu International Airport. and that means going by road from Enugu to Oka, you need to see what we pass through on the road. You need to see the suffering that people are going through. This is just unnecessary. And all they could tell you is things are like this because it's a federal government road. But the people from Anambra State are suffering. People from Enugu State are suffering. The road is there. Every person is crying to the high heavens, but no one is listening. I just begin to wonder until, even if President Buhari is privileged to have a second tenure and spend 8 years as president of this country, will he ever pass through that very road to know the state of affairs and what Nigerians are passing through in that place? Go to my town today, Edo Central, and go and see what is happening there. Because the governor have decided to abandon the place, and for the past 7 years, because he felt, according to him, that the people in that center didn't vote massively for him, and so decide to abandon the place for all through his tenure. Go and see the state of roads there today. It's something else. You can't move. So I feel that, and what did more damage was that the federal government road linking Benin City to Auchi down to Abuja has been abandoned. The projects have been abandoned, and so the road was cut into two. So the few streets that were manageable inside town, trailers and all these heavy trucks have to be managing them inside the town. So they finished the whole town that you can't even move anywhere. So to that extent, I feel that restructuring may be a major solution to the problem of this country, because the center is too far away from the people, and the center is too powerful. And the center controls so much of the nation's wealth, and the local government, the state has little. The local government virtually have nothing, because the state even consume what's supposed to go to the local government. So if we can restructure the country in such a way that the government will really be closer to the people, and that the government, at that level, the government is able to take charge of the situation around them, I think it will be better. But in all, restructuring or no restructuring, to me, I still feel one of the major issues is leadership. It's leadership. When I went to Anambra State after Governor Peter Obi's administration, honestly, I was overwhelmed with what I saw at Onitsha. I was overwhelmed. These are places where you cannot move. People, you'll be looking every angle, because you don't know if people are touching you from left and right, trading on the road, confusion, erosion everywhere. But the last time I visited Onitsha, I was really shocked what has happened in this place. And until of recent, when I listened to Peter Obi speaking on a forum in Lagos, I could not say, it means it was the style of leadership that he exhibited as a governor that brought that development, that change, which you could see. Let's use Edo State, for instance, where I say leadership is the major problem. During the 8 years that one of our governors stayed there before the Oshomole's administration, that is Governor Lucky Benito's administration, you virtually could, no one could see any progress that was really made in the state. So it's a question of leadership style. What are you doing as an individual? Even if, let me tell you, my brothers, even if we today do the restructure which all of us are clamoring for, if the leadership style in Nigeria does not change, we are not still going to achieve much.
Now, the political leadership and the system have been blamed on the most part.
Yes.
For the problem, that we are facing in Nigeria. Can we change the system? And most importantly,
we can.
How can we have good leaders at the aims of affair?
First of all, let me start with having good leaders. That is the beauty of democracy. Leaders that fail the people are supposed to be paid back by voting them out. Any bad leader have no business coming back to govern again. There's a parable in my area that if you dance well, you dance again. If you dance badly, there's no opportunity for you to dance again. So that is what is supposed to be, and that is the beauty of democracy. Nigerians must be ready to give red card to any leadership that fail, whether at national level, at state level, or at local government level. That is the only panacea to the problem of leadership. When leaders now know that the people will hold them accountable for their tenure and either give them a pass mark by way of voting them back, or give them red card by way of voting them out without looking back, then crop of good leaders will begin to emerge. Then we need to discourage this idea, like this recent election that took place in Edo State. You could hear the observers, saying that money was just being thrown about publicly, even on election day. People will vote and deliberately raise up their ballot paper to show to the watchers, members of political party who will pay, that look, I voted for you. That is a way you go and collect your own money, and you go there and they give you your money and go. Under that circumstance, good leaders can never emerge. Until Nigerians learn to vote without collecting 1,000 naira, 500 naira, or without selling your own PVC, then we cannot get good leaders. So if we are going to get good leaders, we must be ready to do away with that kind of attitude. Then can we change? Why not? If we want to change. The question is, are Nigerians ready to change? We are already almost at the verge of even falling into a pit. And yet we are still doing business the way we have been doing it, that have not taken us anywhere. That is where I'm surprised. I thought the present government that came in with the slogan of change will be able to do business very differently. But I'm beginning to fear, because 2 years is already going, and I've really not seen real serious change in style of leadership. I mean serious change. It's not just to say change. It must be seen.
Practical steps.
We need to take practical steps. If you look at what Peter Obi said about the colossal waste that is going on in government, then I begin to wonder, if such can be happening at state level, then what happens in Aso Rock? What happens at the center? So there's so much of waste, there's so much of leakages that need to be blocked. You see, I wish we have time to really analyze what Peter Obi said at that very forum. It was so interesting to know that there's a governor who has strived to want to block all these leakages, though he became a victim of it eventually, which means Nigerians are not ready to change. So that is one man, and that is what I expect from the federal government. That's what I expect from the federal government. I just heard of recent, they said they have finally listed 2 aircraft to for sale out of out of 11. Out of 11, they want to sell 2. They need to sell more. And in fact, I even asked, why selling the 2? Why don't we take maybe 6 out of the 10 and revive Nigeria Airways. We don't have aircraft to move about. Go to Aero Contractor. I think they are flying with one plane all around now. So that is why you are missing. People are missing flight, because one aircraft is the one carrying people to Lagos, from Lagos to Port Harcourt to Enugu, back to Abuja and going. So why, instead of even saying, why don't we take this thing practically? No, yes, remove presidential something from it and make it a national career, so that see, those are the kind of practical steps that we need, that we can cause change. Why can't we reduce the salary of political office holder drastically? Yaradua made that attempt and he could not implement it because Nigeria don't want change. When Jonathan came on board, if you remember, within the first 2 months of his administration, he raised the issue of reducing the take-home pay of a political office holder. Before we knew it, it was abandoned. Now, the present government wanted to start something like that, initiate something like that. You heard when they were saying the president and Aerofire, the present governor of Kaduna, was trying to give part of their something. Now, that has completely been swept under the carpet. This administration that is talking about change is not also talking about it again. That means we are not ready to change yet. If we are ready to change, then change is possible.
Venerable, we have so much to talk about when it comes to change, and you know the government has already come out to say the change begins with me.
No, it should no. See. I don't agree with that.
You don't.
No, don't. So I don't agree with that.
You wanted to
they came and said they want change. The change should begin with government. Let me tell you, Nigerians will be ready to follow the footsteps of the leaders if the leaders are ready to change. If the leaders, like, let's go back to Peter Obi said.
Yes.
See, where Peter Obi said when he became governor, he discovered that on any trip they are supposed to have 25 cars in his convoy, and he said no, reduce it to 5. Whether 30-something person also, I forgot the figure now, are supposed to follow him to anywhere he's going. For instance, if he's coming to Abuja, they are supposed to, he said, no, what are you following me to go and do in Abuja? I'm the one who want to see president. Why should all this fleet of people follow me and come and be paying for hotel, feeding fat on the coffers of the purse of the government and all that? They take their extra code, they take all sorts of allowances, the ones that are due, the ones that are not due. He said, no, you don't need to follow me. And they were saying, no, now so we they do it. It's okay. All of you should go and write an essay on what you will do in Abuja when you follow me there. So now that is the way to change.
Okay.
That is the way to change. It's possible. So the government should lead.
I think Venerable, we will need to set out an episode for us to discuss and analyze.
Yes.
Former Governor Chipitas Obi's.
Yes.
You know that he made.
Change must begin with leaders. If we want Nigeria to change must begin with leaders. If a governor, okay, I saw of recent. In the social media, where a convoy of a political office holder blocked a small car, the police came and dragged this fellow Nigerian out and were using club on him, beating hell out of him. John got justice. Recently, it's in the social media. Recently, so you are telling. See, if we are going to change, the change must begin with leaders.
Yes. Yeah, we still have a long way to go, and come on. Although we do not have much time on the program again, but I want us to talk about the unity of Nigeria. How united are we as Nigerians?
Thank you very much. Recently, the president came out to say the unity of Nigeria is non-negotiable.
I don't agree with that. Because if we are to remain as one nation, we need to sit down and talk and resolve issues.
Yes, I know, but we have been united so far. We should thank God for that.
There is no unity in Nigeria. Let's not pretend.
Let's not pretend about it.
Sir, we are not one united Nigeria.
So we are one divided Nigeria.
We are one divided Nigeria.
One divided.
One divided Nigeria. Yes, that is the truth. Because let me tell you, let's not pretend about it. If you look at the past government, you will discover that it's not that Jonathan. We know that there are areas that Jonathan made some fundamental errors. But when you talk of performance, Jonathan performed to the admiration of
the whole world.
The whole world. But because he is from a particular region, and the North felt that no, it is their turn. Boko Haram, that is why I said the cause of Boko Haram, if Nigeria's, the problems of Nigeria are not faced squarely, there is no way we can run away.
So there's need for negotiation.
There is need, serious need.
And that's why they must go back to that conference report.
What is happening in the southeast, what is happening in the south is an evidence that there is no one Nigeria.
No cohesion at all.
Even the case of Boko Haram is an evidence that there is no one Nigeria. Look at even the president, the current president has made it very clear that there is no one Nigeria.
How?
Because if there
say that?
Just hold on. If there is one Nigeria in a country where you have more than 300 ethnic groups.
Yes.
The president, the president is a Fulani man. The chief of army staff a Fulani. Chief of air staff a Fulani. Immigration. I mean, custom.
Yeah, we know.
Wait.
You see, my brother is coming. My brother is coming to leadership style.
Let's know there is some kind of
leadership style.
This is not issue of lopsidedness in appointment.
We're talking about unity.
Issue of unity.
Unity of this country.
Unity. Let me tell you, if you are a government that is serious about the unity of Nigeria, there are some certain things that you must look at critically.
One of the, if I may come in quickly, one of the things that can easily fractionalize any institution is leadership style.
To me,
leadership style. It was bad leadership style.
So how can we get it right?
That is what I have said earlier. We must go back to what our founding fathers.
So federalism.
True federalism. True restructuring economically and politically. If this government is serious, because they are talking about change begins with you. Who says so? Can you tell somebody in the IDP camp that change begins with you when he has not eaten? Can you tell somebody that, let me tell you, the Minister of Culture and Information, who is even the pioneer of this change begins with you, anytime he's going out with a convoy of 5 SUVs. The president of Tanzania, immediately he came into power. He demonstrated leadership. He demonstrated true leadership. When he visited one of the hospitals and discovered that nothing was happening there, the first thing he did was to sack the MD of that hospital and gave it 24 hours. If that hospital is not put in order, he sacked all the staff there. What happened? Within 24 hours,
everything will be working. Leadership
they came to him
that
with a budget of how many millions dollars to celebrate their independence. He asked them, what are we celebrating? When people are dying of cholera. And he said, no, that money you will use in celebrating that independence
can go a long way.
We go a long way in putting our health institutions in order. And that same hospital he visited that has no
facilities, yeah.
He said that money to celebrate should be used to buy beds and state-of-the-art facilities. and put that hospital in order. And that hospital was made a first-class hospital. And that day of the independence, he ordered all Tanzanians, including himself. Leadership must be by example. The president must lead the way. If there must be any change, it must begin with the president. And then his ministers, the Nigerians can follow them. You don't tell me change begins with me. When you are feeding fat. You are feeding fat. And you tell me who you are paying 18,000 naira, change begins with me. For what?
I want to say, all of them are changing. Their color, their everything. Their cheeks are already coming out.
Let us be sincere.
When did they join government?
I don't come here to speak apologetically or diplomatically. I have to be sincere to our leaders. If they must think good of Nigeria, let them
lead the way.
Like what the president of Tanzania did when he took all Tanzanians to the street.
Finally, sirs, I want us to talk about security in Nigeria. You know, we've had spate of kidnapping. We've had, militancy, in the Niger Delta, in the southeast of recent have raised, their ugly head. So where are we in terms of security in this country?
That's why, at the beginning, I said there are issues. Time will not permit us to cover the issues.
Yes.
Security-wise, we have problem. Yes, I said at the beginning that we can celebrate the mere fact that we can move about at least.
Yes.
We can celebrate the mere fact that at least the Boko Haram that were already taking territory have been pushed back. Kudos to our soldiers who are also making a supreme sacrifice to do that for us. To that extent, we can say thank God. Yes. The celebration I'm talking about can be God, thank you for keeping us alive. But there are issues in security. Security problem in this nation is not just about Boko Haram. Okay. Look at the herdsmen menace that have been going on in this country.
It does boil down to the kind of leadership.
People are just dying like chicken. Nigerians are just dying like chickens.
The herdsmen, who are they?
Think about
which region are they from?
The question of kidnapping and the number of people that have lost their life. In this country now, you prize a human being as if somebody can just capture you now after leaving this studio, and the business has started. They start negotiating. We pray God will secure your life. They start pricing you like a commodity in the market. They will tell you bring 10 million. Your family will say we have only 500. They say no. Okay, bring 5 million. Then the family will say we have been able to gather human being. That is horrible.
That is leadership failure.
That is the state we have found ourselves. Do you know how many people have died through ritual killings in this country in the recent years?
Yes.
Somebody was talking to me somewhere, I think yesterday or this morning, and it was the picture he was giving to me about what is happening in the suburb of this Abuja is horrible, where somebody was kidnapped and he was taken to a place and he found so many graves, and they even put the name of the people they buried alive or buried, they killed in one way or the other, the ones they burnt, so that their people cannot recognize them. And they were telling the man that better call your people to give us something, otherwise you suffer the fate of these very people. So much is happening. Know the number of people that are declared missing and they are not found. Then let's go to political killing. Do you know the number of people? Let's take Rivers State as a case study. Yes. Even last week here, I learned that the life of about 4 chieftain of APC were again cut short by the bullet of assassin. So where do we talk about security? You can't go on the road and your mind is at peace. You can't move and be at peace. Is it the issue of robbery? So when you talk about security, it's not just about fighting Boko Haram. It should go around. It should be all encompassing.
Security.
Yes, our campuses secured. When there's rampage in the campus, and court group are fighting themselves, you need to see what innocent students suffer. So see, these are issues of security. The point is that so many Nigerians are just dying, and sometimes I weep for this country, the kind of blood that have been flowing in this country, especially in the recent years. So when we talk of security, we are nowhere yet. That we have been able to put is, by the way, if there's good security, is Boko Haram supposed to even come and be taking over territory and all that, where in a nation where there is real security? So we need to wake up as a nation. That's why I say there are issues. Yes. There are issues that we need to deal with, and we need our leaders to face this thing squarely and don't make excuses. Don't continue to blame the military. The military have since gone. Don't continue to blame the military. Don't continue to blame past administration. Govern. If you don't know what to do, throw in the towel. There's room for resignation. Move. There are many Nigerians who have what to do to salvage this country.
Venerable, we need to wrap up. Come on, please. I want you to give your last word regarding, what can we do to move this nation forward? Just one sentence.
Please. Yes, unfortunately, we are in recession, economic recession. And some of these things, they happen in a way that our leaders, we have a rethink of the kind of policies and the way they run Nigeria. Because many of our leaders, they run Nigeria like their personal or father's property. They do whatever they like. Because in a country where you see somebody having more than 400 billion in his account, and the CCB, access declaration, and others will just come, or CCB, they will clear the play, EFCC will clear the person and say the person has nothing, no case to answer, is not corrupt, and the person's father is not a multi-millionaire before he died. There is no company before the person
became a government, went into government.
A public servant. And if you look at, because your task should be a reflection of what you have. But when somebody task is not a reflection of what is having in his bank account and even his assets, and because he's a member of one political party or maybe the ruling political party, and the government did not see anything wrong in it, my brother, we are heading to destruction. Because what I think the next stage the country is heading to is depression.
We need to change.
Genuine change.
Yes, serious change.
Okay.
Serious change.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, viewers. On this note, we shall be wrapping up this episode of Christians in Politics. We have been discussing Nigeria at 56. Is their progress? And I have been discussing with Venerable J.O. Unuanya, the Director of Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria. He is also a Justice of Peace. And also here with us in the studio is Reverend Canon Agbejume, a priest with the Diocese of Abuja Anglican Communion. I am Owolabi Ogunshe Genti. Thank you.